very nice tactic by the looks of it. Knight takes f7. And we're now going to see what happens after a number of moves. So, okay, this g5 move was looking like it was going to lose, just with some careful calculation. I mean, we don't spend an awful amount of time calculating positions here because there's so much going on, but I think another 5 minutes would have found a solution as we saw the black king 2 naked. So instead, okay, Hou Yifang's just saying, right, well, I'm going to have to play this position, and I'm going to have to play a position where I'm pawn down. And we do get a pure ending now. After king f1, a rook ending where Hou Yifan is simply a pawn down. And this is no fun whatsoever. It's a bit like the Nihao game. You're playing for second place. You're probably not going to draw this against a world champion who knows, you know, it's a lost position, a lost ending anyway, because at some point this pawn majority which white has will start advancing.
Yeah, Vishy has just played rook f3, by the way, so I guess he wants to maybe play rook e3.
Yeah.
Contest that e file. You can of course never swap rooks when you're down a pawn. Bring the king up, and yeah, I'm fearing.
Yeah, I mean,
feeling a bit fearful for Hou Yifan.
Totally correct. Yeah, rook e3, start pushing those pawns, and unfortunately, it looks like Hou Yifan's going to lose. And Vishy, you know, good news for Vishy fans. He's probably going to move up into equal second with this win with Hikaru Nakamura. So you know, he's played a very nice game.
I think for Vishy, it's very important is to bounce back after he hadn't played an open tournament in so long. Then he played in Gibraltar, which went horribly wrong. So it's great to have him back in such good shape here.
Yeah. But this is technically a losing position, and you know, be interesting if you want to improve your rook endings. I'm sure Vishy will win this one, and he will show how to win this kind of position.
Ghost Dragon 12-12. Can you show Kramnik game? We were just about to go there, so let's do it.
Winning when he won that pawn, and he played a nice game. You know, he played simple opening, but then he showed that he knows where the pieces go, and that's what you need to do in chess. And well, we'll show the end. We don't need to necessarily show how he got here. He did get his majority of pawns rolling up the board, and that was always the issue. And he got g5 in, looking very dangerous. Also a big weakness on c6. And now, well, rook to h8, Hou Yifan trying to get active. But after this move, rook to e6, it could be a second pawn that's dropping. Rook to h5, g6 check, and now just a simple move here. Rather than taking on c6, which probably gives very good winning chances with the white king coming around, you can save your f-pawn, and you can do that just by playing the move f6. If black doesn't take that pawn, we can play f7 and rook e8 checkmate. You know, the pawn defending that. If we do take the pawn, well, we're going to go 2 pawns up after taking there, and it's easily winning position here for ex-world champion Anand. So nice work from him, and tough end to the game for Hou Yifan.
I think you're going to crush me again in the predictions today as well, but we'll have a look at that a bit later. Let's go back to board 3. Okay, and we're back, and we're delighted to be joined by the #1 woman player in the world, Hou Yifan. And it's very nice of you to come by despite what must be a disappointing loss in the last round. Tell us, first of all, how did you enjoy playing here in the Isle of Man?
Yeah, well, basically this is really a great tournament, a very strong open, especially that when it goes more there, attract more top-rated players, and I'm very happy to come back again. And last year, actually, my first time I was playing here, and this time also I like the place, organization, everything went. Basically the things were going well, except maybe first half of the tournament, the pairings made me a little bit, upset, at least psychologically. And then I decided to take a goodbye. Trying to adjust and trying to play well in the second half of the tournament.
And you are happy in hindsight with that decision to take a bye? And also, what did you do on your day off?
Well, now it looks like that was a wise decision, but honestly, at that moment, I didn't think too much. I just thought that I'm not really in best shape. So in the rest day, I was just like exploring a bit more in the island, and I was also following Oh, by the way, that day was also coincidentally the tiebreak of World Cup. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So good timing. Okay. I think now we're going to look at your game from yesterday against Sebastian Bogner.
Yeah. Okay. We can have a look.
Yeah. I think you can click through here.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why this doesn't work. It worked before, but.
Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, so again, Petrov. Oh wow, actually the first Petrov in this tournament, but same today I did the same choice with black. And well, overall I don't think there's so much to say. Well, just went for the middle game. Well, obviously white is trying to put some pressure. We're trying to be slightly better, and well, it's not clear f3 here is good or not. Maybe I should just go for more natural move, rook e1. But I was a little bit worried with this variation. Queen d1, queen f6 kind of forced the lines with queen g4, h5, then g6. A little bit complicated. So I was trying to more consolidate the position. So that's why I played f3. But basically it was weak to my position. And I thought my opponent did few precise moves because bishop g3, queen g5 here is important. Otherwise, for example, if he went immediately knight e7 trying to trade the pieces, then it might always face like knight h6 here. So that's why the move in the game, queen g5 was trying to provoke f4 and then to go back. And also it was open for this bishop, and the c4 d5 never works out. I mean, never could block the bishop. So after thinking for some moment, so I decided to went for queen f2. This is a bit tricky. Of course, my opponent tried knight f4, led to a forced line, but something like this could also be interesting, bishop e4. Well, I thought the list it would be like some complex.
Yes. If you want to come back to the game, you need to just push the button.
Where?
This one. And the problem is, then we have to scroll back up.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Yeah, then we could have a look with this different color bishop endgame, because it's kind of only moves. And here, I'm not sure, because I should play bishop c6 first. It looks more tempting. And then rook f5. The difference is black doesn't have c5. It's simply much better version for white, because then king has all the squares, all the holes. But then I was calculating something like rook e2 and the rook b2. Was thinking probably black has some counterplay, but anyway, I should go for this one. And
at the beginning of this opening, how did you evaluate your chances? How did you evaluate the position? So despite the opposite color bishops, did you feel you were already much better, or just a small?
Well, not really. It was just somewhere in the middle of the game. And as white, normally we're trying to find for chances, but that's not something already like decisive. So just slowly like trying to improve. Okay, and bishop g7. c3, c5. Yeah, I thought somewhere both of the players were under not so much time, and some inaccurate moves occurred. Because here, of course, it's very difficult to win this different color, but considering that you might have this pass pawn the queen side and trying to blockade the king at the same time, just like what happened later in the game, there could be some chances. But I thought, first of all, it was bishop f6, where could just lead to a much better version, because then h5, I thought rook b8. Yeah, somehow white is not on time trying to maintain with the bishop on d5, king on c4, b4, or rook f2 with this active rook. So maybe.
So you think this was a mistake?
Yeah, I thought after 40 moves, because before clearly both of us made some mistakes. For example, rook e1 is clearly a kind of not so imprecise move, because it allows rook b5 and goes back. At least you should cut the rook, for example, like bishop e5 or rook e5, maybe rook e5. And I thought when I successfully passed the first time control and I play rook b8, this position should already quite some winning chances.
I think this is actually yesterday during the show the first time we saw the position, because there are so many games, so it's hard to keep track of everything. So we looked at it here, and we thought you had very, very good chances here.
Yeah, for example, if black wants to play f5, he should play as early as possible, trying to activate the king and trying to have a pass pawn. So I thought
maybe even now? Or?
Yeah, maybe now could be an option because rook e5, king c4, f5 now doesn't work because of rook g8 to rook kh7, rook f8. Yeah. So in the game he played the rook g5 with. Yeah. And of course to trade the rook and then f take g5 is kind of black could hold the position, so I decided to still. Well, later on I thought it was just like clearly winning with ideas, trying to create the one pass pawn on a file or even b file, in the same time trying to blockade the king and to keep the rook over the board. So should be winning already, but of course later on my opponent played f5. Well, kind of try, but already makes no sense even to give up a pawn, because after f5, at some moment, for example, even to trade the rook and exchange the pawns with the bishop, it was winning. But if you keep one pawn on f6 and your king went out somehow, could have a draw with this h file pawn and the bishop. So
because the pawn is the wrong color. Okay. So instead, in the game after that, there was nothing more.
Yeah,
a few more moves, but nothing to talk about. Okay, so that was a nice game, and you've had an excellent year. You did well at the Granke Classic, but more importantly,